Okay, so you know how much I love digging into resources that can really make a difference.
Hmm.
And I think this one is going to be particularly interesting to a lot of our listeners
Yeah.
um, because you've shared your interest in opportunities specifically for First Nations, Inuit, and Métis artists.
Right.
And we're looking at something that I think is so powerful for artists in general,
Absolutely.
especially when we're talking about connecting with different communities and
No.
sharing your work more broadly,
Mhm.
and that is travel.
Yes.
So we're diving into the Canada Council for the Arts,
Okay.
support for that today, looking at their travel funding program.
And this is great because it's not just your typical travel grant. You can tell that the council put some real thought into how to structure this program,
Yeah.
recognizing the unique needs and barriers that Indigenous artists in Canada face.
Yeah.
They're not just trying to get you from A to B.
Right.
They're trying to support something,
Yeah.
travel that has a real impact.
They actually use the phrase significant events
Yes.
when they're describing what they're looking for.
Yeah.
So I'm really curious, when you see that, what does that say to you?
Well, I think that's the million-dollar question, right?
Yeah.
What is a significant event?
Right.
And I think in the context of this program, it's really about pushing boundaries. It's
Yeah.
about, not just attending something, but
yeah.
really making a lasting change or having an opportunity
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
shape your artistic path in a meaningful way. So maybe it is premiering maybe it is leading a workshop.
Yeah.
Maybe it's
Yeah.
building relationships with artists and organizations in a different community.
And I love this because it opens it up not just to established artists,
Right.
but they're very clear that aspiring artists.
Yes, and I think that's really key.
Yeah.
That they're thinking about emerging artists.
Yeah.
That they're thinking about cultural carriers. They even open it up to groups.
Groups.
Yeah.
And even for-profit organizations that are working within Indigenous arts and culture.
It's fantastic. It's really about
Mm.
like nurturing talent at all levels.
I love that.
Yeah.
And even beyond that, they make it very clear that if an organization is already receiving core grants from the council,
Mm-hmm.
they are still eligible to apply for this travel funding.
That's right. It's about,
Talk about dedication.
it's about, providing as many avenues as possible for Indigenous artists to really connect and thrive. And I think it's important to note that they're not just thinking about it
Yeah.
in terms of like, here's the money, go travel.
Mm-hmm.
They recognize that not everybody starts from the same playing field.
Right.
So they even offer assistance with the application process for artists who identify as deaf or disabled or who face any kind of barrier, whether it's language, geography, cultural differences. They're there to help.
That's huge.
It is huge. And it's so important for
Yeah.
making sure that everybody has that equitable access.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So we've established that it's about impactful travel, but where can you go?
Well,
Is it limited to Canada or?
that's the exciting part.
Yeah.
You can use this funding
Okay.
to travel within Canada or internationally.
Wow.
So there are a couple of ground rules.
Yeah.
It has to be at least 100 kilometers
Okay.
from your home.
So no coffee runs.
No coffee run, unfortunately.
Dumber.
But it's really about that professional and artistic growth opportunity.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Not just a change of scenery.
Although,
Although,
I will say, attending a significant artistic or cultural event,
right.
like a powwow, for instance,
Okay.
is a completely valid reason to apply.
Now, that's something I can get behind.
Right.
And I love that they call that out specifically.
Yes, it shows
Yeah.
a deep understanding.
It does show a real
Yeah.
understanding for how vital those gatherings are
Absolutely.
for Indigenous communities and artistic practices.
It's so key, yeah. And it goes beyond powwows, too, right? Yeah, absolutely.
Like when you really look at the range of activities.
What else can people use this funding for?
Well, yeah. Imagine you're an artist and there's a specific technique you want to learn or a new creative direction you're dying to explore.
Okay.
This could help you travel to a specialized workshop.
Right.
Or maybe a master class with some renowned artist in your field.
Mhm.
Or you're really passionate about an element of your culture and you want to incorporate it into your work.
Yeah.
This funding could help you travel to different communities, conduct research, maybe connect with knowledge keepers.
It's like they've really thought of
Yeah.
all the different ways that
Every possible way that travel can fuel an artist.
travel can fuel that creative journey.
Yeah.
And I love that they also recognize it's not just about individual growth either.
Right.
They have
There's that business side of things.
they have stuff in here about market development,
Absolutely.
like helping artists
Yeah.
actually, build those regional, national, even international markets for their work.
Yeah. Develop those connections. So it's
Yeah.
not just about
Yeah.
the creative process. It's about helping Indigenous artists really thrive,
Yeah.
in the art world.
And that's such an important element to this.
Yeah.
Now, this might seem obvious,
Yeah.
but could you use this to go on like a full-blown tour?
Oh, that is a great question. And it highlights the
Yeah.
importance of understanding like the nuances of each program.
Okay.
So while this one focuses on travel for professional and artistic development,
Mhm.
they actually have a separate program
Okay.
dedicated solely to touring.
Okay. So it's about using the right tool
Yes, exactly.
for the job.
The right funding for the right purpose.
I was going to say, it's easy to get caught up in the excitement of an opportunity and just
Oh,
want to
gosh.
apply without maybe
Yeah, and I think this is a really good example.
reading all the guidelines
Yeah.
carefully.
Of why it's so important to really read those guidelines. For example, one of the things they're very clear about with this travel funding
Yeah.
is that it has to be by invitation only.
Oh, okay.
So you can't just decide like,
So I can't just book a flight to a
Right.
festival
you can't just book a flight to a festival and be like, hey, Canada Council,
on me.
can you cover this?
Right.
They want to see that there's a real concrete opportunity
Makes sense.
driving the need for that travel.
What else
Um,
should people be mindful of?
oh, here's a big one. You can't use it
Yeah.
for activities that are already being funded through other Canada Council programs.
Oh, okay. So no double dipping.
No double dipping, unfortunately.
So it's really about being strategic with it
Yes.
and figuring out how does this particular travel funding fit into my
Yeah.
journey.
Does it
Great
fill a
deal.
specific need?
Yeah.
And that's, I think, why it's important to go beyond just like skimming
Right.
the guidelines and really try to understand like the goal, the criteria.
The criteria, what are they actually looking for?
Yeah.
Because that can be the difference between
Mhm.
a successful application and,
Right.
a missed opportunity.
So take your time with it. Do your research.
Absolutely.
And don't be afraid to reach out for clarification if you need it.
Yes.
Speaking of which, if I'm a first-time applicant,
Yeah.
are there resources available to me?
Oh, for sure.
Because I can imagine that being a little daunting.
It can be. They actually have a fantastic resource for that. And that's the
Yeah.
council really encourages, especially first-time applicants,
Okay.
to connect with a program officer.
Wait, really?
Yes.
You can talk to an actual human?
Yes, they can answer your questions.
Wow.
They can offer feedback on your application.
That's amazing.
It's like having a guide
Yeah.
through the process.
Yeah, it's great.
Don't be afraid to reach out, especially if it's your first time.
That's a game changer.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've covered a lot.
The why behind this travel funding, who it's for,
Mm-hmm.
all the incredible things it covers,
Yeah.
even some of those nitty-gritty details
Yeah, those details.
that you really need to know.
Important.
But I think what's so exciting for me is picturing that ripple effect
Yes.
that this kind of funding can have,
Absolutely.
not just for individual artists, but like
It's huge.
for whole communities.
Well, and imagine, right, an artist travels to a major city. They showcase their work.
Yeah.
They learn new skills. They meet other artists and professionals.
Yep.
They bring all that back home.
Mm.
They share those experiences with their communities.
Yes.
They share their knowledge. They share new perspectives.
Yeah.
It's about so much more than just
It really is.
that individual grant recipient.
It's about strengthening those connections
Absolutely.
across Canada. And it makes you realize how vital programs like this are,
Mm-hmm.
not just for supporting artists,
Yeah.
but for building that thriving, inclusive landscape for everyone.
It's true. And, for anyone listening who's involved in the arts in any capacity,
Mm-hmm.
whether you're an artist yourself or an arts administrator or even just someone who loves and supports Indigenous art,
Yes.
remember, opportunities like this don't just,
They don't fall in your lap.
fall on your lap.
You got,
You have to go for it.
yeah, be proactive.
Do the research.
And you've already done some of that by being here with us today.
Exactly.
The next step is taking that curiosity
Yes.
over to the Canada Council website.
Over to the website, they have a wealth of information.
Did you deadlines, resources?
I have everything. So even if something we said today just piqued your interest even a little bit,
Mhm.
go to the website and explore.
Yeah, you never know
Yeah,
what doors might open.
exactly.
And to everyone out there who's considering applying,
Yeah.
we believe in you taking that leap is huge.
It is a big step,
Yeah.
but the rewards can be immeasurable.
So go for it.
Go for it. Explore those possibilities. Who knows what incredible journey awaits.
And on that inspiring note,
Yes.
we're going to wrap up this deep dive.
Okay.
We hope this exploration into travel funding has sparked your own creative journey.
Yes.
Until next time.
Ah.